Yes, sir. We are live on YouTube as well as on Zoom, sir.
Okay. So I can start?
Yes, sir. You can start, sir. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the online session of the manufacturing science course, manufacturing automation course, sorry. There are any participants or not yet? Is there any participant there? You are muted. You are muted.
Yes, sir. One student joined on Zoom, Mr. Rahul.
Okay, okay. I will just take the
Self. Maybe he's not ready with the questions, sir. We will proceed, and then whenever a student...
Okay, fine. So just 1 minute. I will just make it. Okay. Now, what happens is that earlier I was looking at the screen. Here I can see you only.
Okay, sir.
That's all right.
No problem, sir.
Okay.
Rahul is here, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, so once again, good evening and welcome to the live session of Manufacturing Automation NPTEL course. So this course was a 4-week course. This is a very small course again. Let me go back to the slides and I will tell you what are the things that we have gone through. Okay. Yeah. So in manufacturing automation course, we started with the what is manufacturing automation, why it is required, okay, where the muscles, tendons replaced by the mechanization, and the brain, memory, nerves, they are replaced by the control technique. Okay. Now, when it is a truly automated system, we said that this is the ability, it should have the ability to make a decision, carry out these decisions, and the ability to evaluate and correct the performance like the human being does. So we are actually copying the human being activities in the equipment in the machine. So that would be the automation, which is a trend of science and technology, which causes a process to be carried out according to a previously set program. Okay, what we set the program, without the intervention of the human activity for its control. Now, therefore, this decision-making, physical action, and the evaluation and the feedback, they are closely related to each other. Then we discuss the aspects and what the technology should include, like the automatic machine tools, automatic assembly machines, industrial robots, automatic material handling and storage system, automatic inspection system and the quality control, okay, the feedback control and the computer process control, and the computer system for planning, data collection, and the decision making for supporting the manufacturing activities. Now, therefore, we also discussed that whether this will create widespread unemployment, and we have logically said that it will not create, it's the other way around. This will actually create more jobs. Okay, more jobs because it will actually create ancillary industries, okay, which will support the automatic industries, and therefore many other people will get job in those ancillary industries. Okay. Then we said what are the benefits of automation, what are the reasons where we should go for, why we should go for the automation, and the strategies, what we should do to effectively use that for our benefit for the upliftment of the economy. Okay. Then we said there are three types of automation, basically: fixed automation, programmable automation, and the flexible automation. And characteristic of each of them we have discussed. Next, we discuss the Detroit type automation. What is the automated flow lines? What happens when those flow lines are of inline type or the rotary type? Okay, I have shown you some examples, some photographs. Then we discussed how the parts are transferred in the automated flow lines. Because you see, as we said, always we should remember that there is no human being involved there. Everything is being automated and mechanized. All right. So therefore, we discussed that what are the flow lines should have to transfer the parts. For example, walking beam system. Okay. Then the general method, we said that there is a continuous transfer, there's an intermittent or synchronous transfer. Okay. And we have the asynchronous or the power and free transfer. Now, which one should be selected? That depends on many other factors. Those factors we have discussed. Then we discussed what is the roller conveyor, what is the indexing mechanisms like Geneva mechanism, like cam-over indexing unit. Okay. Then we said how the transfer system in the automatic assembly taking place, for example, in the inline continuous transfer machine or the inline indexing machine or the rotary indexing machine and so on. Define and give the example of the asynchronous transfer mechanisms. Then we have started making the analysis of the automated flow lines. That is the average production rate, line efficiency, and the cost per item produced on the line. Okay. And we derived very simple equations through which we can actually find out that how these proportion of downtime or the line efficiency will depend and how to control them. Okay. For example, the efficiency. Efficiency can be controlled by controlling the TC, that is the cycle time, or the frequency of line stop, or the downtime. Okay, that relationship we have derived. Next, we derived the cost per item produced. Okay, on which factors it will depend, like how to consider the raw material per product, how to consider the cost per minute of to operate the line, and how to consider the cost of any disposable tooling, okay, per workpiece basis. And finally, we found out that how the cost per piece can be determined. Then we said there is a partial automation, that some of the machines can be automated, some of the machines can be manual. So in that case, how you can consider the cost per item. Okay, that also we have discussed. Production and throughput we discussed. What are the definition? Through an example, detailed example, I have discussed what is the difference between the production and the throughput time and how to determine, how to define them, how to find them out. And we also said that how the component quality can be considered and what is the effect of the component quality. Because here what happens is that it is all automatic. In that case, if the component quality is less in the assembly, then the assembly process will not be good, and it will be incorrect. So in any of the machining machining positions, it can actually stop. And if it stops, then the whole line can stop, because each of the machines, each of the positions will depend on each other. Okay, that we discussed in details. Okay, next we started discussing the bowl feeders, how the parts are transferred, like the vibratory bowl feeder, and how to design them, what is the conveying velocity, okay, and what is the mechanics of vibratory conveying, that we discussed. Like what is the effect of the frequency, what is the effect of the track acceleration on the feed velocity. okay, on the output. Track acceleration, effect of the vibration angle, effect of the track angle, and the effect of the coefficient of friction. These things we discussed. Then I gave you some numerical examples. Through those numerical examples, I showed how to use the theory that we have discussed. Okay. Reciprocating tube hopper feeder, we discussed how the parts can be fed through the reciprocating tube hopper feeder, or through the centerboard hopper feeder. Next, we discussed the reciprocating fork hopper feeder, external gate hopper feeder, all right, rotary disc feeder, centrifugal hopper feeder, all right, revolving hook hopper feeder, bladed wheel hopper feeder, tumbling barrel hopper feeder. So in each of these cases, what we discuss is that what is the mechanism, how it works, okay, and what will be the feed rate, and how to increase and how to control the feed rate. What are the advantages, disadvantages, all those things we discuss while discussing these kind of hopper feeders, okay. Then we discuss the part orientation devices. We said that there are active devices, there are passive devices. Basically, active devices are those which will reorient the part if the part is coming in a improper direction. And the passive one is the one which will reject the part, and it will allow the only those parts which are coming in the right direction. Okay, so those are the part orientation devices. There are different parts, like for the screws, for the washers, okay, for the parts where there is a difference between the top and the base shape, okay, and for example, the cutouts, the slope we discussed, then the pressure brake we discussed, wiper blade we discussed, right? In the analysis of orienting system, we actually said that in an example, how the part can be transferred and how the parts are hopped, particularly in the vibratory bowl feeder, okay? We also discussed the out-of-bowl reorienting devices, which are placed between the exit of the bowl feeder and the entrance of the work head, right? So that means in the part feeder, there is a part feeder between the hopper feeder and the machine. So in that part feeder, there has to be a out of bowl. Why we said out of bowl? Because it is not inside the bowl, and therefore the system of the orienting devices have to be only active, because it cannot afford to reject the parts. Where the parts will go, for example, in case of vibratory bowl feeder, if within the vibratory bowl feeder there is a passive device and it rejects the part, okay, the parts will fall at the bottom of the bowl, and again it will come to the exit. Again, it will come to the inclined track of the vibratory bowl feeder. But in case of the out of bowl systems, like which are placed in the part feeder, there we can have only the active devices. Okay, and we said what kind of active devices we can have there, like out of bowl reorienting devices where there is a cup used, that is consists of stationary container, where there is a wheel, rotating wheel inside the stationary wheel. And then we discuss the feed tracks, what kind of feed tracks are used, okay, like vertical feed tracks and the horizontal feed tracks. What are the advantages and disadvantages? And we have derived the equation for in the analysis of the horizontal delivery feed track, particularly. On-off sensors we discussed. Why on-off sensors are used? Because in the case when the feed track is filled up, then if some parts are still coming, then it will be jamming, okay, part jamming. So therefore, there has to be on-off sensors that it will say that if the part is filled up, okay, the part feeder is filled up with the parts, then the system has to be stopped, in the sense that the part feeder has to stop feeding the parts, and so on. We have discussed the powered feed track, which works in the principle of the vibratory ball feeder, because there is a vibratory track, and there is an air-assisted track also, which is the which comes under the powered feed tracks. Escapements we discussed, why the escapements are required. There are different types of escapements. I've given you examples. I showed it to you. Jaw escapement, okay, like drum escapement, star wheel escapements, and so on. Then we discussed about the part placing mechanism. Okay, why part placing mechanisms are used and when they are used. Then in the design of design for automatic assembly, we said there are product design for ease of assembly, and there are product design for the feeding and orientation. So we have discussed in great details what are the criteria for the ease of assembly and the feeding and orientation. I gave you some examples. I showed you some figures, and through that, I explained how it is done. Okay. Then we discussed about the performance and the, okay, before that we discussed the precedence diagram, why a precedence diagram is required. It gives you the best possible way of assembly, and the performance and economics of assembly systems we have discussed then in great details. Okay, I think there we have stopped. We ended the course, and that was a 4-week course. It was very kind of congested, because this is actually a course which we discuss within 42 hours in one semester. But I did not hurry up. I explained through the slides, so therefore I did not need more time, like in classroom where we are using chalks and blackboards. So I could, utilize that the PPT, PowerPoint, for explaining the entire material. Okay. Now, if we have any question, you can ask.
Karthikeyan, Prajanan, Praveen, do you have any doubts? Can you unmute yourself? If possible, turn on your camera so that we can see.
Well, before I end up, let me also introduce Mr. Murali Krishnan, who is the technical assistant for this course, and throughout the 4 months and all, up to the exam, he is greatly involved in organizing the course, arranging for the question answer session, and all the kind of your feedbacks are given to me, and so on. So I'm thankful to Mr. Murali Krishnan, who is really doing a very good job, and he is linking me with you, with the participants. Thank you, Mr. Murali. Yeah, please, if you have any kind of question, any clarification, you can ask.
Sir, on YouTube, nobody is watching, sir. So
Okay.
only 3 participants are here.
Okay, fine.
You can
So
discuss.
you can speak up. I mean, I
Yes.
can see Mr. Karthikeyan, Mr. Praveen Kumar, Mr. Brajans. So since you are in the WhatsApp, you can speak. Okay.
Yes.
You may not write the question.
So most of the questions are related to examination patterns.
Okay. Let me tell few things about the exam. In exam, 100% 100% questions, all the questions will be MCQ. That means for all questions, you will have 4-5 choices, and you have to select one of them. There are some numerical questions where you have to solve that question get an answer, and that answer will be one of the choices within A, B, C, D, E. And you have to select that. Okay, but nevertheless, you have to solve it. But there are very simple calculations involved, and you cannot bring the calculator in the exam center. Calculator will be given online. You must have practiced in the online session with the calculator. And believe me, I use that calculator for solving the questions. And I found that not much time should be required if you had a practice. And don't worry about the exam very much, because I have kept the questions as simple as possible within, of course, the syllabus, and very basics. Like if you go through the material that I have just now discussed, topics, you will have no problem at all in answering this. And you had those assignments. The questions in the exam will be similar to them. Okay, so you had a more or less idea about what kind of questions can come. All right. So I wish you all the best for your exams also.
Thank you so much, sir. And then hall tickets will be issued by March 15th, sir. So students, no need to worry if you did not receive the hall tickets. It will be sent via email to you before 15th of March.
Mhm. And they can contact the NPTEL office for if they did not receive.
Just in case, yeah, you can post it on the forum also. We'll check. We'll get back.
Okay, good.
Karthikeyan, do you have any doubts? Rajanan? Praveen?
Everything is clear to them.
Yeah. I think if they don't have any doubts, then we can wind up.
Fine. So I thank you all for your participation, for taking interest in the course, and I would be happy if that would help you in your future. Okay. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Murali Krishnan. Thank you very much.
Valuable time. Thank you, participants. We are closing now. Bye, sir.
Bye.